All right, here we go. This is going to be a great edition here on the Vital Wire. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go on. This is the Vital Wire. All right, super excited. The intro to that was very, very intentional. We will get to that here in a minute, but we have a very, she's not even a guest because she's not going anywhere when we leave here right now. We are here with the wonderful Erin Ruggieri.
Yay.
So what we're going to do is we want to hear a little bit more about you. So as you've known, since you've been here, we have hired Erin. She is an athletic trainer now on staff here at Vital Performance. But as you know, we just want to introduce people in our community. You've seen the guests that we've had. So now it's your turn. So since now you're a part of the team, just tell the community all the things. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? What are you doing? How'd you get here?
All the St. Louis questions, huh?
Yes.
Absolutely. All of them.
Well, I grew up in Fenton, Missouri. I went to Rockwood Summit High School, 026 zip code. I grew up dancing my whole life since I was 2. I went to Dynamic Edge Dance Center in Fenton as well. Let's see. I danced in high school as well on that dance team. Then I went to Lindenwood University. I graduated from there last May with my bachelor's in science in athletic training. I also danced there on the now 8-time Lindenwood Lionettes dance team.
Yes.
Where I now coach them as well. I also coached the Francis Howell Middle School dance team for 3 years, and I still coach at Francis Howell. So
goodness.
There it is.
Yeah.
And that's it. No, just kidding. So this is very cool because we had this planned. This is really your first full week in the office. You've been in with nationals and everything. So we had this planned. And then, so this past weekend, you guys go down to Daytona.
We did.
With Lindenwood and swept house.
Yes.
So how was Daytona?
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was my first trip back as not a dancer, as a coach, which was really surreal and really cool to see the other side. And also watch like all my teammates now, like people that I coach, have like their dreams come true and literally clean sweep the D2 division. So that was really cool.
So clean sweep. What was it? What did they win? What were they?
They won the D2 jazz division and the D2 hip hop division.
We got to go to Friends and Family the
we did.
week before. We were there for that, and there was something that came across. I think all of us. I think even the coaches when we were there, because we were backstage with y'all. We were very fancy. We had VIP passes nonetheless. But
Yes, we did.
I think across everybody, including the coaches, I think it was like a this could happen moment, because there's sometimes it's like, oh, there's a lot to work on, but I feel like that night, and I'm not like, I married a dancer, I can't say I know a whole lot about dance. I support it wholly, but I really just had that feeling of like, I don't know if there's much to work on. There's always things we could be better at, because usually there's something.
Yeah.
That night, I don't think there was.
No, even like since spring break, there's just been like something different about that team, especially, and those leaders, and like having only 2 freshmen, all those people have been to Daytona already. So like the whole year has just been like a momentum to Daytona, and once they felt that momentum, like, okay, we're actually going, it was like game on, all gas, no brakes, and it was so cool to watch too, especially as an alumni too.
Yeah.
Like, wow, they really want it, and like whatever they want to happen is going to happen, and that was just so cool.
Right. That's something that I've always loved about that program specifically, the Lionettes. Their heart and drive is just always on overdrive.
Yeah.
They're such a family, and I can absolutely attest that to the coaching staff, obviously, as far as you go. You definitely bring a huge plus to that program for that reason.
Yeah, I think what's so cool about that team too is like they all come from different areas, not only in St. Louis, but like Kansas City
Yeah.
and like Japan, like
That's
so many
super
other
cool.
places. But like you come to Lionettes and like you are a Lionette forever, and like
Mm-hmm.
every Lionette ever is so excited for that team. It doesn't even matter how long ago you were a Lionette, and like I think that's just so cool.
There's friends that I have that I've seen on Instagram and Facebook sharing things about their previous. Obviously, we had Lane on here
Right.
earlier in an earlier podcast a few weeks ago, but even other friends that winter of 2013 was when I graduated Lindenwood. So it's like I still see
Yeah.
people that I knew then posting about, oh
Right.
my gosh, they did it again.
Yeah, and like a huge thing of Lionettes is knowing our like history and knowing where we came from. So like we never forget that either. So like when alumni do reach out, it's like, oh my God, like it's the alumni. Like they're real famous to us.
That's
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, so it's so cool.
So you're famous is what you're saying.
No, I am not famous.
I don't know.
So these girls right now, what's the most amount of rings that I guess they've all done it together, right?
Yeah,
So,
so the seniors now have 5.
5.
Are
5
those the-
rings in 4 years.
Yeah,
Most
5 rings, and
decorated.
that's only 3 nationals because COVID year.
They double titled.
We double
in
titled
2021
my sophomore year, their freshman
and
year.
also this year. I forgot about that.
So Lindenwood, you're welcome for literally building the popularity of your dance program so
Yeah.
you can enroll more students in a
Yes.
very successful, not only school, but dance program. If you want to go to nationals, Lindenwood University is it.
Yeah.
And you were also down there with cheer. They
Yep.
did very well.
Yeah, they did really good. They got just brought home 2 first place trophies, a 3rd and a 4th, and then also a 5th in their group stunt, which is so cool as well.
Super cool. And then
Yeah.
I was gonna say they placed 3rd in the overall. What do they call that? The grand.
The grand champion.
The grand champion, which is super cool too to see them standing up against some really
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool teams.
Yeah, I think the coolest part of Daytona is we go with there with cheer. So like every single performance, there's at least one cheer team there. And like one of my core memories of Daytona is the band shell, like seeing my best friends like watching us dance.
Yeah.
And so like that part is just so cool to even have that memory. So
That is super cool.
yeah,
Well, and I asked you this just this morning.
Yeah.
Is there a relationship between Lionettes and cheer?
oh yeah,
And you were like besties.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's super cool too.
Yeah, that's how the spirit program should be. Like, cheer was developed first, and dance was developed to literally supplement the cheer squad, which is a super cool dynamic. And you lose that nowadays at a lot of schools. Whereas LU, it's truly
Yeah.
that. It's a combination of the two. Their family, they're all in together, and I love that.
yeah. We're literally the spirit program.
Yes, the spirit program.
Yeah, we matched on Saturday too at the competition.
Aww.
So I was like, we are LU, let's go.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
So now that, you've been a part, obviously dancing forever, but just talking the Lindenwood side as we're gaining more ties with Lindenwood.
Yeah.
And, we take care of a lot of the dancers here now, which is great, who have had a lot of success. It's like, it's always fighting an uphill battle with these athletes
Yep.
in dance. And it's like, okay, wish we'd have came here sooner, but we've got 3 weeks to get all these girls. And so at the beginning of March, we're like getting after it.
Yep.
And that was my first introduction to you. And so for those that don't know, there's going to be stuff on YouTube and things like that. I'm sure Cheney's posting more of these things, but we did a talk here for the entire Lionette dance team. You guys brought them here to the office, which is cool. And all I remember is, well, not all I remember, but one of the things that stood out to me, I will say, is who is this gal sitting on the floor by the recovery hallway?
Yes.
Just like staring at me, but not a hole through me. She's like, this guy might be smarter than he looks. Like she's like listening. And I'm like, and then she's asking great questions because let's face it, especially in the healthcare industry, let's just blow this out of the water. We think that there's this big us versus them thing. I don't care if it's, medical doctors and naturopaths or PTs and chiros or, the orthos and ATs and chiros. It's like there's this misnomer, this misconception that we all have to have this huge pride balloon,
Right.
and it needs to be popped.
Right.
But that's really not the case. I mean, no, that probably is the case. Some of these people carry pride balloons, but that doesn't need to be that way. Let's pop the
Right.
balloons. And I'm like, well, this is super cool because we collaborate very well. And you've
Yeah.
already heard me like, man, wish we had somebody that would help us do this. I don't want to do that. Like how can we work together? So, and then the questions that were being asked, we can all ask very provoking questions
Yeah.
and backhanded, snide questions. And it's like, let's see if this guy really knows what he's talking about. Where is the trigeminal nerve? It's like, what? No, stop. That's facial. It's part of the face. Yeah, we can talk Bell's palsy. I mean, so we don't have to go, yes. But she's literally asking great questions and more, what do you think? And how can we do this better versus like the test questions? So afterwards, I'm like,
Well, that was super cool too. Sorry to interrupt you, but it was really funny to see because I was standing back. So I was back with the rest of the coaching staff. She was like middle ground, and then the team. She was literally by herself, just like he said, taking in everything he said. Well, we had sent out this survey, essentially, this questionnaire for the Lionettes to go ahead and ask their questions. And Erin had filled it out, and she looked back at us at one point and said, he's answering all of my questions. These are all mine. These aren't the girls. These are mine. And it just made me giggle. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this girl already. And just the intrigue and the great questions like you just said, like I just had to throw that in there because it was hilarious to see her like giddy, but also like, I don't know if I should have sent all these in. Like maybe I should have let the girls, but it was really fun to see the like genuine knowledge that she wanted to intake.
yeah. And that's why, so as the talk was going on, it was probably one of the more unorthodox talks I've ever given because I literally let them kind of lead, but it was fun. We went around the room, but then it was like I just had this innate need to like then kind of pull her in, right? I'm like, I'm looking at her across the room being like, right? And she's like head nodding. She's like, why aren't there more people like you guys here? It's like, I don't know. This is why we need people like you. And at that moment, we weren't even done yet. And I was like, I don't know what she's doing, but we're going to hire her.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to. I don't know if we can afford her, but we will. We're going to hire her somehow. So afterwards, I was like, Erica, who's the gal over there that didn't know what side she was on, but she really seemed to like us? Who is that?
It's like, that's Erin. And don't worry, I already set up an interview with her.
I already sent my resume, actually.
Quite literally got
Yeah,
a
we
resume
literally go
the
home that
next
night and
day.
she's like, she already sent me her resume. I was like, oh, good. Yeah, she's hired. Yeah, maybe I'll work for her. I don't know. It's quickly what it's turning into after yesterday. Yeah,
You are allowed to go to the bathroom.
yes.
You may.
But no, that's super great because the impact and what I want everybody to realize and want you to realize is like the impact that you are making on even these girls, like it's not going to stop there. So this is where I try to encourage everybody that like our mission is so bigger and your mission is bigger. I don't think you realize the impact that you're about to have, but because of these girls and because of the content we're putting out and because of what you guys do and they know that those girls are here, we're going to have so many dancers that you're going to have helped because of what you have done and how you've committed and had an open mind and just that learning mind and want to learn more. And we're all going to learn plenty from you.
Absolutely.
So that was a little bit of my side of how did you end up here from our perspective.
Right.
So I think that's important to know because if nothing else, it's like we literally just want to build the best services, like literally the ultimate experience. That's what it's been. And with who we see and who we want to see and who we're committed to, not only this community as a whole, but even if we were to niche down like solely and exclusively these student athletes, it's like, okay, well, it takes a village to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not just a me thing and I don't want it to be. So next logical step was the AT.
Yeah.
So we're super happy to have you here. So that's a lot of fun.
I'm happy to be here. Gonna get teary-eyed.
Aww, we love you.
So up to this point, we're only a couple weeks in. What would you say you're looking forward to the most now that, this is only your first full week. Like you've been here a few days, but first full week. But what are you kind of looking forward to at this point now that you're more work mode?
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing you just said it, like the ultimate experience, but like it also, like student athletes deserve to have the Army. And like some student athletes don't get the Army. but like we need to advocate for them to have the Army that they all deserve, because not only are they student athletes, but like they are humans. And like they're the human first, and then they're the athlete, or they're the human, then the student, and then the athlete. And I think that sometimes gets missed. And like, so I want to bring that to everyone, and like everyone who we can have access to, and everyone who can hear that, even if it's not like a local person, even just on social media, they deserve to hear that. So I think that's the thing I'm most like passionate about from the very get-go.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
You and me both.
Yeah.
And she's heard me talk about this day in and day out, and, you know, just go with my intensity. It's like I've got a huge heart, but I am super intense. And when I want something, I want it. But a lot of that comes from a heart perspective. And it's like these student athletes, you just said it, and you've heard me say it too. It's like they are people. And even as coaches, like sometimes we can lose sight of that. And I've done it too. I coached an all World Series baseball team, 2013, all 13 U team. Like there's times, and you've done it too this year, where it's like, holy, that's a person in front of me. And I think teachers, coaches, other athletes, parents need to realize that too sometimes. So I think that is the number one thing I hope to change with whatever we can provide and resources we can provide. Outside of that, I guess the puzzle that we're trying to solve, and for those of you listening, like throw it out there. Like I want feedback on this, but I'm going to ask you too, because I think I know the answer, but I want people to hear it from other than me. So why don't you think they have more resources? Is it time? Is it money? Is it, I mean, outside of we got to remember they're people and they need resources. It's like, okay, let's take that one off the table, because that's number one. It's like we got to realize like these athletes need the resources they need because they are people and we have to take care of them as a person. But why don't more athletes come from more of a proactive perspective, or why don't they have maybe this kind of lifestyle that now you're being dipped in and have wanted? Why don't they have that sooner?
It's what they've always been told.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always brought up with like, I don't go to the doctor until I'm sick, or like until I roll my ankle, I don't go get it looked at. But if you go at it from the perspective as like, hey, I'm gonna go start this care, and until like I'm gonna start something, and then I'm already feeling well, and then I'm already performing at my very best. And then nothing's going to happen to me, or if it does, it's not that big of a deal, or like I already know where to go and how to treat it and who to see. It's just not the way we've been brought up. It's not the way that the healthcare system's been worked either.
It's like
that's so true.
going to a competition, saying, I'm going to perform a jazz solo
Right.
and not practice it, and I'm going to let the judges tell me what's wrong when I just totally screw it up. And then being like on the, like, you didn't even have it choreographed. Like you're just going to go out there and it's going to mess up, and then you're going to take care of it.
It's like you can't defend a title without defending a title. You can't defend a title without
That's
really going back at it.
Right.
You can't
That
just stay the
just
same.
became, I'm going to put that over Erin's picture on our website. You can't defend a title without having a title. So, which I think is super important to know as an athlete. Just remember that. You can be as great as you want, but it takes, to finish first you must finish. So start there, and then win one title to win two.
But that's also so true what you were talking about with you were brought up to only really go somewhere when we're either sick, injured, or we got in an accident or something. Like we were never taught to do the preventative side. We were never taught that wellness comes from taking action now as opposed to waiting on it. And that's something that we always try to change the stereotype on. And I love the fact that that's kind of your mission too, as far as like that goes. So true. And nobody sees that. Whereas building the Army, allowing them to have it now is proof in the pudding with a lot of the athletes that we have under care right now. It helps, it works, it is what everybody needs.
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of a misnomer too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, it's like we very quickly had, you know, handfuls of dancers in here after that talk. But I also think, and I say this on almost every podcast, I just don't think parents know what resources either are available, or if they do, they don't know who to trust. I think that's a huge thing too. But I was just thinking as we were talking about this and throwing out the whole wellness thing too, and I think wellness, this is off the top right now, but the whole wellness thing, I've never really thought of like wellness, like, oh, I'm gonna do this for wellness. One, I don't think that's big enough buy-in. Just honestly, oh, wellness, I'll get to it later. Like, I don't think that's a big enough buy-in.
Yeah.
And it's really not what it's about. Here, like, yes, it is, but I would more say it's like, let me just shapeshift this as I gather my thoughts here. Let me just shapeshift this because I think this is ultimately what, especially you and I, are trying to provide. And I really just love that I feel like we're both on the same page, on the same wavelength. We're vibrating the same way with the same intentions. It's about performance. It has nothing to do with wellness. Oh, come be preventative.
Right.
It's like, if you don't have the range of motion, if you want to have more coordination in your turns, if you want to be able to hit the ball farther, you want to be able to run faster, you want to be able to prevent injury, you want to recover better. It's like, to hell with wellness. Like,
Right.
let's just can that word. It's
Right.
kind of like biohacking. Let's just can both of those words.
Yeah.
Biohacking is the new like real trip, and we've got some biohacking things here. Cold plunge eventually, cryotherapy, Normatec, infrared. But it's like, let's just can wellness and just like, why is it called Vital Performance?
Yeah.
Well, why do you think?
Yeah, it's like the same reason why if you want to be a really good pitcher, you're gonna go to pitching lessons whenever you're little. You're not gonna wait until you're 15 and trying out for baseball to go to pitching lessons. It's the same reason. Like, why would you? Oh, you know what? I really want to go like dance in college. I'm gonna start doing private lessons now.
Yeah.
Like, no, you need to start that way back.
Yeah.
Right.
Now
So why
let me.
not take care of your body now, so then you can be elite, an athlete later?
Absolutely.
And what if you find something ahead of time that it's like, hey, did you know this was here? No, I don't feel that. Exactly.
my
Point
favorite
proven.
thing.
Do you want me to fix this now?
Yeah.
Or do you want to wait till it breaks? Or you want to wait till you can't turn? You want to wait till you can't throw? And then we'll fix it later. And it's
Yeah.
going to cost you more time and money. It's like you got to be able to invest in yourself. So, quick little personal coaching rant for these student athletes is let's talk about this from a student side. Let's just drive this home a little bit.
Let's go.
Be forced to take a class like organic chem and don't do your homework. Like, it's as simple as that.
straight up F.
Like, you can get through and you can chum up maybe some like accounting or some lit class, and you can kind of fake it till you make it in there, but do something that actually matters.
Yeah.
Take a class that is just high level, play a sport that's high level, do tricks that are high level. Take a class that's high level. Don't do the homework. Don't show up to class, meaning practice and investing in yourself preemptively, and tell me how you do in that class. So do that as an athlete. The greatest athletes in the world have the ultimate experience in healthcare.
Yeah.
And it's not on the back end.
Yeah.
I think that's something a lot of athletes nowadays do too, is because they were brought up with, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Essentially, the mindset of, well, okay, my ankle's broken, now I have to go somewhere. Or I did roll it, I need to do this, that, or the other. They also are becoming great at ignoring.
Yeah.
Ignoring their body, ignoring the pain, and faking it like they're perfectly fine. And Their
Right.
performance is not only going down, obviously. I mean,
Right.
the coaches see it, their parents probably see it, but want to ignore it too because they don't want to do anything about it. And then you end up with a very bad injury as opposed to something that could have been prevented from people like
Yeah.
you guys.
Well, and so then like that, like then you're worried about the human aspect of that, because then you're not worried about like, oh, might not be an athlete anymore because of that injury, but now the rest of your life you're going to be dealing with things from that injury.
Yup.
Yeah, and this is something we've talked about, and you've heard with one of the girls we've had under care, where it's like, and this was my directive the whole time, and she was on the floor this weekend. She was able to make it on the floor, and she got through, double titled, but at the very beginning, serious injury, and I was like, look, here's what needs to happen. She's like, I don't know if I can do that. I was like, you don't have a choice. I was like, I'm protecting you as a person at this point, because here's your options. I will give you this much rope, but when you don't listen to me and you take this much, you're not going to be on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, but I have to be. Exactly. And I don't care that you're on the floor or not for a title or for you can dance. I care because your mental health, if you are not on that floor, that will kill you.
Yes.
It's like you could whether you win or not wouldn't matter. It's like, but if you weren't on the floor, even if you lost, that would kill you as a person.
Yep.
So it's like, take care of this now. And kudos to her and her mom, and just so grateful for you guys and us to be able to help her, because she started a little bit of that trend too, where it's like, oh, we need to take care of ourselves, because it's about the person.
Yeah.
It's literally about the person.
Yeah, and like for her, without you guys, she wouldn't have made it that far, because like we don't have those resources to offer her.
Well, and that just means we have more work to do. We have more
Yes.
speak to make, and with you here, there's going to be more impact to that, which is great. We're going to be able to reach more people farther, faster, and create. And you know this. I've told you this. We're here for anybody. We're not for everybody, but the people who we are needing to see and need to see us are going to find us very quickly, and we're just going to be able to reach them faster, which is super cool. Now, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm just so excited for what's to come. Like, just having the two of you dynamically in the office for the past 2 weeks, really, it's been a game changer for everyone. I think it's been super cool to see. It's been super cool to see the clients' reactions to it all and everything.
It's super great that things that she's really good at, and things that she wants to do, are things that I don't. That's great right off the bat. She gets it done very quickly, where I overthink it. But yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a great dynamic. And we can leak some stuff here in a second, but there's a burning question that I want to know.
Oh,
Every coach
gosh.
has to get asked this. No, it's super easy,
Oh,
I think. You got 1 year. You've been on both sides now. You've
Yeah.
won rings on both sides.
yeah, that's weird.
You got 1 year, and then you're done. Like, you don't get to walk back on a dance floor ever again. Like, you're
Okay.
done with dance.
Okay.
You're like MIB, mindset erased. You get one memory left. 1 year. Are you dancing or coaching?
Ooh, wait, that's a really good one.
With the same outcome. You can dance
In double time?
in double title, or you can coach the girls to a double title. Now that you've been on both sides, what are you going to do?
Coach.
Aww. I agree,
Yep.
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
That's awesome. Gets me emotional, because then I think of,
It's
I mean,
so
it's just
fulfilling.
it's about the she said it the whole time. It's about the people. It's not about her,
The
which is super
humans.
cool.
Yeah.
Said the same thing. I was asked the same question after we won the World Series with the boys, and with everything that I had done in my baseball career. I said, you know what? I'd coach. I said I would give all of that up to win this with these boys again, and actually, the girls softball team was one of the most fun things I've coached. But I said the same thing. So I was just wondering. Either one wasn't wrong.
No.
It didn't matter. But it's just funny you say
My
that.
body also says coach.
She's like, here's the real story. Oh my goodness.
Then there's that.
Oh my goodness. I agree with that though. I mean, I did not do dance team. I account myself to be the first Lionettes fan. I am the OG Lionettes fan. But I like teaching and coaching as far as my career goes. I competitive danced all the way through. And then I was on the teacher end of that. And those competitions, seeing my kids up there, were probably some of the most fulfilling. And then that's the same thing that I have right now with coaching. It's just so fun to see your heart and soul put into a team, and then for them to have success and be excited about that success and come to you. It's so cool to
Well, that
be-
too, and I think, maybe the titles don't happen. Say the titles don't happen. You can still take a lot of appreciation from the growth in the 20 of them over the course of the year. That still is a trophy in itself.
Yeah.
And so when you're on the team and you're worried about, man, I hope I performed well enough, or did I, or maybe you didn't, and then you're worried about you, and you're worried about, man, I cost the team. But if you're on the other side, it's like, well, yeah, we didn't win, but let me show you guys your first performance at the beginning of the
Right.
year
Yeah.
to now.
Yeah.
That's super cool to see. We got a couple minutes left. I feel like we should leak. I like leaking.
I was just gonna say, I don't know what you're gonna say or what you're not gonna say, but
Should we leak?
I'm so excited.
Should we leak it?
leak.
Let's leak.
You didn't leak this one.
So let's leak real quick. If you made it this far, you're probably going to be the first ones to find out that
Heck yeah.
every year student athletes need sports physicals. $20 physical, get your signature, go out the door. We're going to change the game.
Yeah, we are.
Aaron and I have already more so Aaron at this point. I had a vision. Aaron is executing big time because our sports physical here at Vital Performance is going to be the ultimate student athlete sports physical.
Yes.
And it's going to include a complete evaluation. And I'm not talking just chiropractic evaluation. Aaron has the Dorsa V, the AMI scans that we're going to do, or evaluations we're going to do. We're going to give access to the recovery hallway. We are literally going to give you, in the community, your student athletes, a thorough evaluation and tangible steps. And, you know, whether you come under care in this office, that's not what this is for. It's literally to give student athletes the best services, the best resources possible to know what you didn't know or you didn't know that you should be looking for. This sports physical. You will get a sports physical. I will sign the paper. I will sign your MSHA form. But that will be coming. So super grateful, excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm so excited because that's something that nobody has in this community now. It's great.
Yep. Well, that's it. That's all we're leaking. Aaron and Jerry, see ya.